The U.S. aircraft manufacturer, Boeing, projects that the surging demand for aircraft in China will result in a substantial boost to the aviation industry, generating nearly $3 trillion in business over the next 20 years. The U.S. plane manufacturer's latest market outlook indicates that China is on track to become the world's largest aviation market, requiring approximately 8,090 new planes by the year 2038. Boeing foresees that within a decade, 1 out of every 5 airline passengers worldwide will be Chinese. This surge in demand translates to approximately $1.3 trillion in current list prices for the new aircraft. Additionally, Boeing anticipates that the associated services required to maintain these fleets will be even more substantial, amounting to around $1.6 trillion. Taken together, these figures suggest that nearly $3 trillion worth of business opportunities could be on the horizon. Boeing attributes this projected growth to the estimated annual increase of over 6% in passenger traffic within China until 2038. Moreover, China's middle class is expected to double in size over the next 10 years, further fueling the demand for air travel and contributing to the remarkable expansion of the aviation industry in the country. Boeing has ambitious projections for the global aviation market, foreseeing airplane sales worth $6.8 trillion by 2038, accompanied by an additional $9.1 trillion in services. China, in particular, has been a significant player in this growth, as more than 2,000 Boeing planes have already been delivered to the country. Notably, approximately a quarter of Boeing's production line is dedicated to fulfilling orders from Chinese customers, with around one-third of its 737 planes currently being delivered to China. This underscores China's substantial contribution to Boeing's overall business and highlights its pivotal role in the company's continued success in the global aviation industry. The problems Boeing faced in China. Boeing's challenges in China began back in 2018 with the first of 2 fatal crashes involving the 737 MAX aircraft, even before the pandemic. After the second crash in 2019, the 737 MAX was grounded, leading to a significant slowdown in new orders. The subsequent impact of the pandemic and additional design and delivery issues at Boeing further affected order volumes, although there has been a gradual recovery in demand for the 737 MAX. In 2018, Chinese carriers had received 125 Boeing aircraft, but the number dropped to 35 in 2019 due to the grounding and its aftermath. The pandemic exacerbated the situation, causing a decline in deliveries to just 3 aircraft in 2020. While the situation improved slightly in 2021 with 4 deliveries, it was only in 2022 that Boeing saw a more substantial increase with 11 deliveries. And just last year, in 2022, Boeing plane has been grounded after a fatal crash, killing all 132 people on board. Apart from the tragic crash incidents, the ongoing trade tensions between the United States and China have significantly impeded Boeing's sales in the Chinese market for the past 4 years. The major setback occurred when global aviation authorities grounded Boeing's best-selling jet, the 737 MAX, due to a design flaw that led to 2 fatal crashes. This grounding persisted for a prolonged period of 20 months. While the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration cleared the 737 MAX to carry passengers again in November 2020, with other countries' aviation authorities following suit, the Chinese aviation regulator took an additional year before granting approval for the plane to fly again in China. During this time, airlines in other countries that owned the 737 MAX had already resumed flying the aircraft, but the clearance delay in China contributed to a significant halt in Boeing's sales in the country. The combination of the tragic crashes and the extended grounding, along with the prevailing trade tensions, posed substantial challenges for Boeing's business operations in China over the past 4 years. Boeing faces a significant risk of losing its foothold in the Chinese market if the grounding of the 737 MAX continues for an extended period. Airlines are hesitant to switch between aircraft manufacturers due to the increased costs associated with pilot training and spare parts. If Chinese customers, who currently have Boeing planes in their fleets, opt to purchase aircraft from rival Airbus, it could result in a lasting shift that would be challenging to reverse. Such a decision might be influenced by the Chinese government rather than the individual airlines themselves. Boeing is likely to regain some sales and deliveries in China eventually, but the numbers may fall significantly short of what they had anticipated a few years ago. While China can source some of the planes it requires from Airbus, relying solely on Airbus for all their aircraft needs may not be feasible. If Boeing loses a substantial portion of the Chinese market over the long term, it could find itself permanently playing second fiddle to Airbus. In the global commercial jet sales landscape, Boeing and Airbus essentially form a duopoly, and being a permanent second-place player would put Boeing at a considerable competitive disadvantage in the long run. Airbus is taking off in China. On the other hand, Airbus also faced challenges in China during the pandemic, but its business rebounded more robustly compared to Boeing's. The competitive landscape and recovery trajectories differed for the two aircraft manufacturers in the Chinese market, with Airbus gaining a stronger foothold after the pandemic-induced downturn. In 2022, Boeing experienced a significant surge in airplane orders and deliveries. However, despite this positive development, the company still lagged behind Airbus for the fourth consecutive year, especially in the Chinese market, where its European competitor outperformed it by more than tenfold. Throughout the year, Boeing managed to deliver a total of 480 airplanes and secured 774 net new orders, considering cancellations. Meanwhile, Airbus surpassed Boeing by delivering 661 jets and acquiring 1,078 jet orders during the same period, resulting in a net total of 820 orders when accounting for cancellations. Notably, in the Chinese market, Boeing delivered only 8 airplanes, while Airbus achieved more than 100 deliveries. In April of this year, French President Emmanuel Macron visited Beijing and met with China's President, Xi Jinping. After the visit, Airbus signed new cooperation agreements with China's aviation industry partners. This deal comes at a time when relations between Washington and Beijing have been strained, leading China to increase its aircraft imports from Airbus over Boeing in recent years. The agreement will help Airbus achieve its goal of producing 75 aircraft per month globally by 2026. As part of the agreement, Airbus has committed to constructing a second assembly line at its factory in China. Additionally, the Chinese government has granted approval for Airbus to proceed with 160 plane orders that were previously announced. This move comes as the aviation market in China, the fastest growing in the world, continues to expand rapidly. With the doubling of A320 production capacity at its Tianjin factory, Airbus aims to meet the surging demand for aircraft in this thriving market. Airbus has been present in the Chinese market for nearly 4 decades, starting in 1985 when it delivered its first A310 aircraft to China Eastern Airlines. As of the end of the first quarter of 2023, there are over 2,100 Airbus aircraft in service in China, accounting for more than 50% of the market. Will the COMAC C919 threaten Airbus and Boeing in China? In May this year, the C919 from COMAC completed its first commercial flight from Shanghai to Beijing, marks its official entry into the civil aviation market. This represents not only a milestone for China's aircraft manufacturing, but also ushers in a new era for the cooperation between Chinese manufacturers and foreign companies. COMAC, the state-owned commercial aircraft corporation of China, was established in 2008 by combining various smaller aerospace companies in China. Its objective was to enter the large civilian jet aircraft manufacturing sector. One of its latest developments is the C919, a new narrow-body airliner aimed at competing with the Airbus A320 and Boeing 737 aircraft families. However, this is a challenging task for a new aircraft, and while it has seen good initial sales in China, slow production, certification uncertainties, and unproven performance will limit its potential. The C919 has a typical seating capacity of 168 in a single-class configuration, but it can accommodate up to 192 passengers. It boasts a range of 4,075 to 5,555 kilometers, comparable to the specifications of the Boeing 737 Next Generation, 737 MAX series, and the Airbus A320neo. It remains uncertain whether the C919 will pose a significant threat to Airbus and Boeing, not only in China but also globally. As the aircraft is still in its early service days, its performance and reliability are yet to be proven, which will be crucial for more airlines to consider adopting it. Currently, the C919 has only been sold to Chinese airlines, which is a logical starting point, especially with the involvement of state-owned carriers, for the aircraft's development. As of January 2023, COMAC reported receiving over 1,200 orders for the C919 from Chinese airlines and leasing companies. The company plans to ramp up production to at least 150 aircraft per year over the next 5 years after initial deliveries to China Eastern. While this represents considerable production expansion, it leaves little room for new orders. If COMAC can meet these existing orders and the C919 proves itself operationally, it could significantly impact Boeing and Airbus opportunities in China, potentially capturing a 20 to 30% share of the Chinese narrowbody market. Nevertheless, there will still be ample space for Boeing and Airbus in this vast and expanding market. Looking ahead, as the C919 undergoes further development and gains more experience, the situation may change. One immediate challenge for the C919 is that it currently only offers one-sized model, lacking the diverse range of variants seen in the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320 series. The availability of different sized variants is critical for airlines, as it facilitates commonality with crew, fleet scheduling, and maintenance, all of which play a pivotal role in operational efficiency. Another significant limitation is the aircraft's certification. Presently, the C919 is only certified by the Chinese regulator CAAC, and there is no indication if other major aviation authorities like the UK CAA, US FAA, and European EASA will follow suit. This could impact potential sales not only in those regions but also elsewhere. For the future, if COMAC can create a series of multiple variant aircraft with proven performance, reliability, and competitive pricing, it could present a strong competition to established players. However, for now, China still relies on both Boeing and Airbus to meet its aviation needs. So, do you think COMAC will eventually pose a threat to Airbus and Boeing in China, challenging their dominance in the aviation market? Share your thoughts and leave your comments below. If you like what you watch, hit the like button to show your support. More importantly, subscribe to this channel so that you will continue to receive more interesting videos about the happenings in Asia.